So as I push, I roll away. So what's happened is you've now regained the centre from that bone. The centre line is the shortest distance between you and me, irrespective of where we might be facing. So this is what you want to do. Something gets in the way to steal the centre line from here, so you recover that centre line, point further back. Once you've got that line, now you've got both hands of it.
And Ip Man, of course, is the teacher of
my teacher's teacher. Yes, I'm the teacher of Bruce Lee, although a lot of the instruction of Bruce Lee was done by Wong Sun Leung, my teacher. That's another long story. The short version is that there was an issue in the school with Bruce Lee having some German heritage, so the task of teaching him was largely put in the hands of my instructor so that it wouldn't clash with the students at Ip Man School who weren't too happy to have Bruce Lee there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He has some...
his mother was part German.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's actually, as far as we know, I think that's the only time that he had formal martial arts instruction.
That's the only time he had really formal martial arts. He did a lot of informal training before and after that, but his formal training was from about 1955 through to 1958, 59, until he left for America. And the last 18 months or so he spent exclusively with my teacher, training almost on a daily basis.
Wow.
Builds up. It's a bit like water running down a hill. If it meets a boulder, it doesn't sit there trying to crash its way through the boulder, it just trickles around and finds the next way. That's what we do. So as I try to get in with your energy, the reverse for me would be if you're trying to get through here with that pressure and you're too strong for me, if I get in, I'll shift my line so I can push it going forward. I won't try to push this away, because if I do, I think I'll get in.
When I was in Hong Kong, I kept looking for some feeling, some connection to Bruce Lee, but I didn't find it.
There's not a lot of it there, no. But I was lucky because by training with my Sifu, there was a very direct connection.
Yeah.
So we felt the connection all the time because it was right there in front of us. But my teacher was an incredibly humble man, and he never tried to live off that reputation. It was other people who told us about it more than he did. We'd have to pressure him for any sort of information about Bruce Lee. Wow. And I tended not to, because I figured he got enough questions from everybody else.
You'd go read it in a book anyway.
I was more interested to learn what my teacher had to teach me.
Yeah.
Natural instinct would be if you can't get that in, use that. So instead, what Wing Chun tells us to do is if you try to get in there, steal the line. That hand can't get out there. So instead of a hard block, it gives you the opportunity to hit again. Basically what it comes down to in application is if you throw a punch at me, I throw a better punch at you.
Just a minute ago I was asking you, does Wing Chun have kicks? Does Wing Chun have ground fighting? Wing Chun have this and that? And your answer was sort of yes to everything, but we hope that if we practice properly, we won't have to use that.
The idea is, and I speak only in terms of Wong Sun Leung Wing Chun, we look at Wing Chun as a concept-based martial art. So we believe we have concepts in the way we train that will adapt to all scenarios. And therefore, because of the close-range nature of Wing Chun, it can adapt to grapple. It can adapt to the ground if I have to go down. I just prefer not to go down. We have kicking, but we prefer not to use long-range kicking simply because it gives equal opportunity to the other guy. So we'll prefer to kick in close or not at all. Because while my 2 feet are on the ground, I've got mobility. As soon as I lift a foot off the ground, there goes my mobility. So the tools are there, and if we have an opportunity to use them, we won't hesitate to use them. But the Wing Chun that we do has become so good at fighting at the range that it does, that we've had very little opportunity to really work on those other techniques. My approach is to teach you all techniques in life. So there's no one to work up with one. That's why this is not the best technique, because it means that I have to do 2 movements. It'd be always better if we were both evenly ready to fight, and you throw a punch. The best thing I can do is hit against your hip, rather than try to block your hip and then go in. Because if you throw one, you throw two.
And then the media feeds back on that, right? Because you said a moment ago, people see the movies, they see TV, and it's really the same things over and over. It's the sticking hands, right?
Yeah.
That's the...
Well, the biggest fallacy in Wing Chun is that if you practice sticking hands, you'll be a great fighter. Too many Wing Chun people believe that, and it's not true. The Chi style sticking hands exercise is only one small part of a much bigger puzzle. And if you only concentrate on the sticking hands, you will not learn to be a great fighter. But if you have sticking hands as part of your training program, it gives you enhanced attributes that help in the fight should the fight go a particular way. And by that I mean if there's a clash of limbs, if there's an attempt to grab or to lock or to jam up your techniques, Chi style gives you the edge because you have an instantaneous and neural related reaction to that. You don't have to stop and think, oh, what do I do here?
Done the block and the punch. You step in.
Yeah,
you step into it. And in Wing Chun, is it your legs are always parallel?
No,
or
that's a fallacy. I don't understand because I see us practicing in this stance.
Yes.
Fighting this stance. This is just training.
Okay.
Because what it does is it unbiased trains the numbers. So what will happen is, if, for example, I want to come in on this side of you, the best leg for me to use is this one. It's now a little bit up. So if you try to counter the pushing out, it's
right.
Because if I was to come in this way, you will push me out. So in this range of Wing Chun, what we always do is move to the same side as the attack. If you're throwing a right attack, you'll be left of that attack. That's the advantage of Chi style. But if you just train Chi style and think you can fight, you're living in dreamland.
Yeah.
And if you take it out in the street, you will be in dreamland in no time.
Yeah, or if you go get in a ring.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a totally different thing. But I think for self-defense, for the barman, the doorman, the bouncer, the police officer, right? This is probably a really good thing, right? The close-in scuffle and
finish it quickly.
Yeah.
We basically use attack as the best form of defense.
Yeah.
Our response to everything is a better attack than the attack that's coming with us. If you were to throw that one, it would be the opposite. So I'm putting the power leg behind where I want to control or hit.
Okay.
Right. Now if you throw ground lines at me, then I'll step into
like a hook.
So then I'll use the opposite. I'll put the power behind the hitting hand.
Okay.
This one keeps you as far away as I need to hit.
Okay.
So we don't do a 1-2 even in that situation. If something round comes, there's a hit straight away. In Hong Kong, a lot of the policemen secretly practice Wing Chun because officially they've been told not to. Because Wing Chun is seen as too aggressive for police work. But all the smart cops learn anyway because they know that on the street there's nothing about being too aggressive, it's survival. So we've got a number of our very old and famous students in the Wong Sung family are all policemen or ex-policemen. So that way you have to go on the defensive straight away. If I'm always doing 1-2,
right,
you've always got one step ahead.
Yeah.
So we work on the basis of you throw a punch, I intercept your punch. It's where Bruce Lee got the concept of Pt2 from. We're intercepting the attack rather than trying to control the attack and then do something. Right? So what we're learning here is one way to deal with interception. It's been a collision. We're in a fight, we're struggling and I'm trying to force your way through. You can't beat me by coming this way, so you just let it go. Because now you've got the line. Now you would be wise to step in on this side and bang. I'm attacking and you move in that way. You don't have a balance.
Okay.
You're actually facing away from it.
Okay.
Do you realise what happens if I throw this punch and you move that way? I've still got the line.
Right.
Whereas if you move that way back,
which right leg back?
Right, that way, I've got
neutralize. Neutralize.
You've got both hands together.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have anything you want to tell the people before we go?
Just if you're interested in coming to see more of what we do, if you're passing through Malaysia, look us up. I've got a website, wslwingchun.my. You can find out more about me. You can find out more about my teacher, and you can find out more about Wing Chun.
Excellent. All right, I'm Antonio Graceffo. That's it for this episode of Martial Arts Odyssey. As I say at the end of every episode, get in the gym, do your sets, do your reps, do your road work, and please say a prayer for the people of Burma.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.